Hi, welcome, good afternoon. Welcome wherever you are around the world. Welcome to Green School Bally's Virtual Open Day. We're live right now at school. It's the end of the school day here in Bally. So in a few moments, our students will be coming out of their Wallace classes and ready for our after school activities. So please bear with us as you see everything live in action here on our Jungle campus. But thank you again for joining us this afternoon. And we're welcoming so many people from around the world as you come into our Zoom chat. Please give us a wave if you can, if you've got your cameras on. Hi, welcome again. So my name's Leanne, I'm your host for today. I am Head of Marketing and Admissions here at Green School Bally. I'm also a parent. My daughter's in grade 6. So it's really fun and exciting to welcome you all here. And we hope you have the opportunity to ask lots of questions today. I'll be sharing with you more about what to expect during the next 90 minutes, just as a few more people are coming into the Zoom chat. Let me quickly start by giving you some logistical housekeeping advice, hints and tips of how to get the best out of this afternoon. First of all, keep your cameras on if you would like to. We are recording this session and we'll be sharing it with everyone, but you will not see those videos. You will not be seeing your own faces on there. But we love to see your faces, and we'll be sharing more with our hosts this afternoon, our special guests. So number 1, keep your cameras on. Number 2, please keep your mics on mute. We will be asking, there'll be an opportunity for a Q&A session later, and you can put your questions in the chat. So I think that's it with the housekeeping. What I want to share with you in a second is we want to get a sense of what you want to learn more about at Green School. I can see some people joining us in the background, but that's okay. We want to hear more from you on what you would like to learn from us today. So in a few moments, we'll be sharing a poll with you. So look out for that any moment. First of all, it's already on the screen there, but as I have a chat, we'll be giving you about 30 seconds to answer those questions. But just before we get to the poll, I would love to share more about what you're going to learn on today's Virtual Open Day. I am standing here in our heart of school. Our heart of school is very special to us here at Green School Bally. If you can actually zoom the camera up, please, Weedy. You can see here is the top of our heart of school. This is actually our middle school classrooms here, our Wallace classrooms, and we've got some admin buildings here as well. But what's special about our heart of school is if you saw an aerial shot of the school, you've actually got 3 pillars, and that's the Green School logo. And that's what you're going to learn all about today here on our Virtual Open Day. The 3 pillars of Green School: our passionate learning community, our Wallace learning environment, and our purposeful learning program. And you're going to be hearing from all the experts that can share all of the information about that. Today's guests, we've got Kate Druhan. She's our head of community, and we'll be speaking to our passionate learning community. We also have Paxal Gordon. He's our principal and head of learning, who will be, of course, speaking more about our learning program. And later today, we will also be hearing from Tabo, who's our head of primary. So I'm going to ask the team to just put again on the screen the poll for you to answer. And this is really going to give us a sense of what you want to learn more about here during our Virtual Open Day. If you have an application in process, or you're thinking of joining us in August 23 and beyond, then today is the right place for you to learn more about our school. So we'll give you a few moments to have a look through those questions. I hope you have the chance to input your feedback in there, and that will really help guide the questions for this afternoon. Again, today is really all about you asking questions of us and learning more about Green School Bally. But I would like to hand over right now to our main guests for today. I'll be hosting our Q&A much later, who can share more about what to get out of today's session. Let me hand over to Kate and Sal.
Hey, Leanne.
Hi.
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful, warm welcome from Leanne, as always. Hi, friends. How are you? Hope everybody is good today. We're really, really pleased to be here. This is one of our favourite things to do. So I am Kate and I'm the Head of Community and Environment at Green School. Been here a long time with my 3 children and get to look after some very special parts of the Green School ecosystem. And joining me here on the bamboo settee is Sal Gordon, our Head of Teaching and Learning. Very busy person who's given us some time today. Thanks for joining us, Sal. Do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Sal. I've been at Green School for 10 years now. This is my 10th year. Started teaching in the middle school, was head of middle school, and now this is my 4th year as principal. I'm also a parent here, and so it's been, such a blessing for me to be able to have my children in school and around me, but also in a school that I think is really, really special. What we've done is created a new model of what a school can be, what a school can look like, how it can function in a community, and what the learning program can be. Impactful and relative to the real world, rather than a place where you just drop your kids off in the morning and pick them up. We're a community of learners, and a lot of our learning programs, the majority is based on making our world sustainable. So our mission, community of learners making our world sustainable, is what we do here, day to day, lesson by lesson. And like I said, it's a really special place for me as a parent and an educator, and it's always really cool to have these chats and to welcome new people who are thinking about joining us.
Yeah, we absolutely love these conversations with people all around the world. It is one of our favourite things to do.
It's going to get wild in here in a minute.
It's going to get
though.
wild.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's Green School. We'll bend like bamboo.
We're going to try not to get too distracted. But we've
100% distracted already.
We've got children. We're wrapping up the school day here. So it is after 3 p.m. Bali time. So we're going to have some middle school action behind us, I think, as children perhaps return to their homerooms to collect their bags for the end of the day. Yeah. And of course, we will have our early years, our youngest community members coming beside us at some point soon. So we will try and stay focused for all you amazing people
100%.
out there. 100%.
Yeah.
All here for you. So thank you so much for filling out the poll. So we have that there on the screen, and his eyesight is better than mine. So he's going to check in on what has come top of the pops in your poll, and we can dive into some of that conversation. You can also put other questions in the chat. So if you have more specific questions, please do put them in the chat, and they will be fed through to Sal and myself. And then a little bit later, we will be having another special guest join us here on the bamboo settee. So we will have Tabo, our head of primary school, will be joining us also to dive into the questions.
And my eyesight isn't really that good, but I can see a nice big blue line around the learning program and educational philosophy. And that's really what makes me tick. That's what keeps me here and happy and motivated. Look, in general, we see education needing to change across the planet. I think that if you're in this call now, if you've expressed an interest or thinking about Green School Bali, you too are also thinking that education should be more than the old traditional model. We've seen education stuck in a time capsule over many, many years, and I know that the education I received when I was at school, getting to the end of it and getting a series of exams which gave me a number, didn't really fulfill me and my purpose in life, and I had to go back into the real world and to learn, to upskill and to practice values and to become what I thought was probably a better human. We're all about creating educational opportunities that are relevant to the now and the real world. So rather than thinking that we're knowledge-based, we're a knowledge, skills and values-based learning program. We know that information itself is not really necessary to be focused 100% in terms of a learning program. Our learning experiences are designed wholly with an outcome of having an impact now. Now, when we talk about our mission in terms of a community of learners making our world sustainable, that looks and sounds and is different for different ages. But what is consistent across the school and really big picture philosophy about learning at Green School Bali is the concept that the world has significant challenges, whether they're environmental, social, technological, sound challenges happening around me. I love this place. But why aren't education models adapting to the fast-changing world? Why isn't a school system creating purpose and opportunity for students and families across the world? We've got to move away from the place of education being a conveyor belt where everyone gets a one-size-fit education and then they get shunted off the conveyor belt with a score or a number at the end of it that funnels them into a career that's probably not going to last very long anymore. The world is so rapidly so fastly changing, and if education systems don't change that, then I think our obligation, we're not meeting that as adults and definitely as educators. So at Green School Bali, we want to create real world, authentic, skill-based, values-based learning opportunities that have an impact in a student's life now and can help to make the world a better place. I think a school in general should be a place that sets itself a goal to make the world a better place, rather than a school being a place that gives students a number at the end of their learning journey. And Green School Bali is leading in that front. We're educating other educators around the world. We've got an amazing community here that are doing that. It's pretty big picture, but I don't know if we want to go into more detail now, or I can answer more questions around curriculum design. We've got an amazing curriculum. Let's put that out there straight away. A lot of people think Green School Bali, no curriculum. So completely wrong. It's sort of a beautiful, evolving curriculum. Again, it's got world's best practice in terms of academic learning, but we also do really cool integrated project-based learning, and we have a strong social emotional program here. We have an amazing experiential learning where students are out in the real world, whether it's around the campus or around Bali or Indonesia and in the world, making a difference with their learning now. Don't you want an education experience like that for your children? I mean, I did. That's why I was here.
Love it. So you asked for a little bit of insight into the educational philosophy and the curriculum. So I hope that's been helpful. And I think what you can hear through Sal's words, is the passion and the sense of purpose that drives not just Sal, but the educational teams here in the school. And it really is a beautiful thing, and it's a very exciting place to be. I know that there's so much. We could speak for hours just on this topic, actually. And I know that the production team here helping us today, will be putting some links, I'm sure, into the chat where you can dive a little bit more deeply into some of those pieces. But Sal, maybe you could give us a little example. We're here in middle school. Actually, this is home base for our middle schoolers, those wild, wacky, wonderful kind of ages of between 12 and 14. Such a special time in a child's educational journey. And maybe you could give us a little slice into middle school and what a day might look like for a middle school student that can give life to that philosophy in action.
Okay, so a normal day-to-day, Wednesday's a little bit different because middle school and high school students spend the first part of the day up until lunchtime on experiential learning journeys, project-based learning, and that's whether that's on the campus or around Bali. This morning we saw our biobuses take our students around. My son is in grade 9, is in the Grease Police on the biobus program, and they're out collecting used cooking oil that we turn into biodiesel. And then run our school buses on, our biobuses on. But, a middle school student will have different aspects of their learning that are important to us, and I can break them down quite simply.
Nice.
We haven't thrown away the academics, because academic learning, whether it's proficiency in literacy, in mathematics and science, they're important things for all students and all learners across all different ages to develop. We want our leaders of the future, we want our children of the future, the people that are going to inherit this planet, we want them to be able to communicate and to actively listen and to express their ideas. We want them to be able to play with numbers, to understand numbers in patterns. We want them to be able to think scientifically and solve problems in the science world. So maths and literacy and science are strong components of a learning program across the school. But what's different here is that we haven't put learning inside of a box in terms of other subject areas. A big part of our program is thematic. It's integrated, like the real world, where students aren't going into a class that's just about geography or just about history or just about science. We'll give them a theme, whether it's oceans, whether it's the rivers, it could be a social justice, it could be education, poverty, consumption and production. There are so many really cool themes. Often we use the sustainable development goals for those themes, and then they can incorporate art and science and maths and literacy, and they can actually create a project and create impact with their learning now. So there's the academic, there's the thematic integrated, but there's also experiential learning. We know that students learn by doing. And so in terms of arts, in terms of their project-based learning, in terms of their physical well-being, there's a lot of elective student choice in terms of designing a student journey, but we also see skills and values being embedded in those types of learning experiences really effectively.
Yeah, so nice, Sal. I know when we were sitting here earlier in the day for our first virtual open day session,
Where we looked a lot fresher.
we did look a bit fresher, but there was so much going on around here. We had early years children that were foraging and discovering what was growing that's edible in our gardens, and we had a cooking class, a seed to table program, and we had also middle school students who are designing and installing water catchment systems to capture the water that comes off the roof of this amazing building. And so this idea that the whole campus is a classroom and that we can take
And the
that
world is a
science, that
classroom.
maths, whatever, and apply it to
Yeah.
something real, which
Yeah.
gets us not just up here, but actually in the hands, in the hearts, and as a whole kind of human.
So we've got a highly
lovely.
documented curriculum. I recommend all parents having a look at our curriculum overviews. That's a big picture. They're on our website. But then you can deep dive through the YouTube channels and see what that learning looks like in practice across all of the different ages. But also within at Green School, and it's really important for us and for you to know that not only are we designing our own curriculum, but we need to design different ways to assess so that we're not just testing and giving a number as the only form of assessment, but we've also rethought the way our pedagogy. Now, pedagogy in plain speak is how we teach, how we create learning experiences. And for us, we use the word real. Now, we want our learning experiences to be real, and this is important, but real is pretty cool because it's real world relevant, but that stands for something. The R is relational. We know that all learning experiences are foundational with building relationships within, with our peers, with the community, building relationships with our learning and having a meaning and impact across the world. E is for experiential and evolving. Well, learning by doing. Do something with your learning. Don't just learn stuff for an exam. Learn stuff to have an impact in your life, in your family's life, in the future of the planet. A is for authentic. So we want to make all learning experiences relevant to the real world, not learning something that is completely wrong, like half of the stuff I learned at school. And L is for local to global. So we start local. Sometimes that local is here, starting from me. What does this experience mean for me here? How can that have an impact in my local surrounding? But even our learning here can impact on a global scale. So our learning programs have their own curriculum. We've based our academics on international best practice learning outcomes. So academically, students here are getting the same types of education as everywhere else, but they're authentic, interconnected, meaningful, relationship-based, and that can have an impact now.
Yeah, well, that's actually a great point to jump to the next item that I think was on the poll, which is really around project-based learning. And in particular, we do have these capstone or milestone sort of projects, individual projects usually that happen at the end of primary school, grade 5, end of middle school, grade 8, and at the end of green school, which is grade 12. And project-based learning can happen and does happen in any grade level, but of course we have those big pieces at the end of each of those different milestones in a child's learning journey. Maybe you'd like to share a little bit about that.
I think
Why we do that,
Yeah,
I think, is...
I think one of the answers for why we do and what are our capstones important for, and I recommend getting online and having a look at some of those quests, Greenstones, our footprints projects. My son did his quest last year. It made me cry when I watched it. But when you talk about authentic real-world learning, when you talk about educating for more than just knowledge, we're talking about skills and values. When you're talking about providing opportunities for impact with learning now, then it's project-based learning that really holds that really closely and really dearly. That's project-based learning that allows a student to learn information, to demonstrate skills and to impact with good values. And those projects, like Kate said, can be capstones. We love to celebrate learning a lot here rather than just learning for the point of an exam, but stand and deliver. Tell us who you are as a learner and what you're doing with your learning. So especially our quests and our Greenstones, our grade 8s, get up in front of 400 people live. It's filmed, it's on YouTube later, and we ask them to show us who they are as a learner, to show us what they're doing with their learning, what the impact they can have with their learning. Not only is it amazing sort of culmination, those capstones of a period of time in middle school or in high school, but it's an opportunity for a student to be proud of their learning as well, and for us as a community to celebrate learning and to see learning have any impact. Our capstones are really they're so mission driven for us. When we talk about a community of learners making our world sustainable, those capstone projects, that's where that is so beautifully seen. projects is bigger than that. You know, I see our grade 5s last year. Was it the pig project?
Yes.
Yes. All of our primary school students, grade level, they look after animals and they do projects. We've got a project bank where students at a project centre, students can apply for a loan, all project design and get an idea off. We've got students doing it for fun. Our high school students just won an award, the Say Less Collective, won multiple awards in terms of entrepreneurial learning, creative design thinking, problem solving. Our BioBus program came out of projects with these awesome sustainability audits. It's really, for me, it's the magic of Green School, putting a project together, allowing students, either individuals or in groups, to have impact with their learning now.
Yeah, it is really beautiful to watch over the course of a year, a whole class or individual students activate a project. And this is where I think we really try as a school and a community to level up beyond sort of hands-on learning, which of course is a beautiful thing, but actually how can we solve some problems? How can we enhance our environment, care for our environment, contribute to our community and so on through an actual project that needs to be managed in that way with a beginning, middle and end and some resources and all of those pieces. And it's amazing to watch children learn some of those skills around project design and project management and actually experience achieving something measurable. Although sometimes the path from A to B is not always straight, and that's what happens when you put it in the hands of the children as well. And that's all good learning also. Right, Sal? Even if we go off to the side a little bit backwards and forwards again.
Yeah, sometimes, the biggest learning experiences come when the project doesn't work.
It's true. It's true.
And around the campus, this isn't the perfect campus. Adults haven't just come along and inputted sustainable solutions to make this place green or to make it carbon zero. Everything on this campus is a learning experience for our students, and whether that's our recharge wells or it's a structure, the igloos that we built that might be falling down and we might have to pull down. There's things it's real world here.
Mm-hmm. Those igloos are not made of ice, by the way.
No.
Are in the tropics.
Yeah,
but they are very special buildings on the campus. And that's the idea. The whole campus is a classroom. And of course, particularly for our older children, beyond the campus as well. So that's all pretty exciting stuff. I think we are going to line up for you in just a couple of moments a video package that Sal and myself and others here have put together for you so that we really hopefully get you the most useful information this afternoon. So this is a little section that's been pre-recorded to give you a few more insights into a few parts of the school, including the campus itself, which we love talking about. If you have an opportunity to come and visit us in person, Sal, we would love to welcome...
100%.
We would love to welcome you. We love welcoming people to come and visit. And we absolutely love families that are interested in Green School to ask all the questions, scrutinise us, think about what serves your child best and do that work. So joining us here today is fantastic. Reading, watching, listening to all things Green School and coming giving us a visit, I think would be just beautiful if that's right for your family. So we are going to go to this little package in just a moment, but if we can just go back to the poll for one more minute, we might just grab a couple of last items on there. I think
transitioning to settling into Bali is something that we could talk about generally. You go for it, Kate.
Well, I'll go for it. Well, you can talk about the students and student support, but really we think of that as a whole family experience because most of the families here with us in this community have moved to Bali for the school. So this is a big deal, and families like mine and Sal's as well, have been through that ourselves, that whole decision-making and transition process. And so over the years, we've built up a set of resources and some know-how and some systems to help support whole families on their way in. So well before a family actually starts to get on the move, led by our admissions team, we're in touch with families through resources, websites, and also events that we invite families to connect with us and help with things around living in Bali, what to bring, visas and travel, settling in, all of those sorts of pieces, and then orientation once families are here and a whole soft landing package for our families and our parents, and then of course all the support that is in class and within learning neighbourhoods for the children as well. We've had a lot of experience in this area, Sal, haven't we?
Yeah, it's not a place where you sign on the line and then and then you're sort of part of the community. And we build a culture here, and we know that there's normally around about 85% retention. And so there's 15% of the community that does leave every year, and we are growing a little bit now. But, you know, in terms of creating a learning program and a learning experience, without that foundational, again, relationships, that the R in real, without that being strong, then everything else is really difficult to accomplish. So our teams, our educators, they're all very experienced, and they focus really on building relationships with new people, creating a culture of positivity and kindness within classrooms. There's mentor systems, there's buddy systems, there's slow rolling starts into programs, because our programs are a little bit different, and that allows new students to get used to the campus, used to the different teachers and the different structure of the program. So we do take it slow and gentle to start with, because we know that building those relationships and getting people to a happy place, students to a happy place in their classrooms, is really important.
Right, and that's actually a nice connection point, Sal, into the last item that was on that poll, which is really about community and about the parents' part in the Green School system. But I think community is something we don't just speak about, but we actually feed that, we nourish that. We have mechanisms and supports in place to help us be bound together as a community. And it's a really important piece for us, and it's one of the experiences for families that come here that is the most impactful, and they share that with us. That true feeling of being part of a community. We don't always agree on everything all the time. Lots of diverse ideas and opinions about different things, and we love that too, and we embrace that. But we are all here with a sense of adventure, with a sense of interest and passion for a different type of education solution, and to really come together as a community to celebrate and activate. And that includes parents. So there is a whole program for parents. So the school has created the space, physical space, and also programs and a framework that allows parents to plug into the school and also plug into things that are just for them. So talks and workshops, courses and projects that our parents embark on. We have parents working down at the Green School Mangrove, down near the beach. We've got parents that are designing and building a climbing wall for the students here at the school. Amazing project. We have talks and workshops for parents. We also have clubs, cycling club and a fitness club and yoga and a writers club and a crypto club and so many things for parents. A lot of it run by parents for parents. So for sure, Sal, I know you always say, you know, Green School's not just for the kids. It's for all of us. We're all learners. And we can all be teachers in this sense as well. So everyone's invited to be part of the experience at Green School.
We want this school to be a place that not only students look back on and love and have an amazing memories of, which I don't really have in my school, but we want parents to feel that as well. You know, this school is an amazing community, and we want parents to engage in the learning program, to be learners with us, to be active in being a part of our mission. Without the parents, this school is probably just another school. And we're definitely not just another school.
No, it's a very special part of the experience for us, the grown-ups. That is for sure. So speaking of grown-ups, we have one more to add to the collection of humans here on the other end of the screen for you today. So we have Tabo Metcalf is going to be joining us soon, our head of primary, who is also the father of 2 Green School children, one who is now in high school and one in middle school as well. So has a really nice perspective across the school. And so between the 3 of us, that's a great opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have. You can put them into the chat now, and we're going to collect them all together and go through as many of those as we can and get you the specifics, because that's what this session is about. For any family thinking about Green School, we invite you to step in and ask those questions and access this information, because it's really about what's right for individual families.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here to do. While you're thinking about your questions and putting them in the chat, and while we get Tabo in here with us, we're going to go to this little video package that we've put together for you. So don't go away. Please stay tuned, watch the videos, and then we will be right here with Tabo on the other side of that.
See you soon.
See you soon. Thank you.
Hi, I've made my way to the 3rd floor of the Heart of School. The Heart of School is our middle school learning neighbourhood. I'm in a typical bamboo Green School classroom, because you can see there is no walls. All of our classrooms are surrounded by gardens which our students play and learn in. We also have an amazing, beautiful river that's running really loud just down the hill, our solar farms, the iHub, the music centres, art centres, everything here is amazing and provides probably that structural, that physical campus that we know that at Green School Bali helps us bring a learning program to life. Our students are provided the opportunities to not just learn about nature, but learn in nature. We have 4 learning neighbourhoods. Our youngest learners, the early years, up to kindergarten. Primary school, from grades 1 to 5. Middle school, grades 6, 7 and 8. And high school, grades 9 to 12. At Green School, our learning is for now, not for later. It needs to be fun, but it needs to be meaningful, and that looks different in each learning neighbourhood. Our early years program is nature and play-based. Yes, students start to develop literacy and numeracy skills, but it's more important for our youngest learners to develop a connection with nature and a connection with their peers and a connection with their learning. In primary school, our students begin to learn who they are. They discover themselves, and our learning program allows that to happen. It makes that happen. The big projects, little projects, projects in the garden. Also strong thematics program connected to nature and sustainability. In middle school learning can become a little bit messy. Our middle school program is set up to allow students to elect certain parts of their learning program. So they have strong literacy and maths classes. They also have an amazing thematics program based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Our grade 8 students at the end of middle school do a capstone project which is based on their own sustainability passion project. In high school, our students are ready to make an impact in the world. Our program allows students to develop the life skills required and the mindsets needed to take action and to use their learning. High school students do a lot of projects. Their culminating project, their Greenstone, is an amazing year-long learning journey where students choose a sustainability-based project and bring that project to life.
This is one of my favourite places on the campus. We're right down here by the river. Behind me is the Ayung, the Great Ayung River, and it powers right through our campus. It's a force of nature. It's also a source of energy. Right here down at the river, we have our very own microhydro system, the Green School Vortex. And this vortex provides a majority of the power that we use here on the campus, and it forms part of Operation Rain or Shine. So along with our other renewable energy systems, we try and offer a range of different learning opportunities for our children to see all the different ways Mother Nature can help power our campus, our community and the world. Clean, renewable and reliable energy. I'm here on the top floor of the heart of school, and this is home base for our middle schoolers. And you can see behind me here some of our renewable energy technologies. We really love the idea at Green School that the whole campus is a classroom, the whole campus is a laboratory, and that we can innovate and we can find solutions to real problems right here on the campus. This solar system here is part of Operation Rain or Shine, which was a high school-led initiative that's ongoing, looking at understanding and implementing different types of clean, reliable, renewable energy right here on our campus. Everyone in our community has a part to play in making our world sustainable, starting right here on the campus. We have in our main car park our waste recycling centre, so all families can bring their recyclables there, sorted, to be responsibly moved on to recyclers on the island. But the very best of that trash we keep right here on the campus because this is a resource for learning. So in this area here in our Community Innovation Hub is Kambali. And in Kambali we have resources here that can be used. So some of these products can be used raw for projects here on the campus that the students are involved in. But we also have some really cool equipment in here. So we can take certain types of plastics and they can be processed into filament like this that can be further processed into a form that we can put into molds. So you can literally bring in some plastic trash and leave with a plate or a fork or a bowl or something useful. We've even had kids make recycled surfboard fins, which are really expensive here. So very cool product, limited only to the imagination. Here we are at the Human Resources Centre, otherwise known
as the toilets. This is our one example of our composting toilet system that we have at Green School. Composting toilets don't need to be nasty. We have a fantastic odorless, waterless, chemical-free system that takes human waste and turns it into organic matter that can go back into the earth in a really safe way. These toilets are really beautiful. Our parents helped design these structures. So they're super friendly, they're actually a work of art and really inviting even for the tiniest of people. That's our take on composting toilets at Green School. Just pulling up in the garage, friends. We ride in style and sustainably at Green School. Our Biobus transport service normally operates 5 days a week, taking our children to school and back home again in the afternoons. Our Biobuses run on used cooking oil, which the students are involved in collecting from hotels and restaurants around Bali. So it helps them dispose of used cooking oil in a responsible way, and it powers our buses. I'm not actually allowed to drive the Biobus, but I am allowed to use this. So for any families who don't ride the Biobus and have a diesel vehicle, they can fill their car up right here on the campus at the biodiesel pump station. As well as the biodiesel bus service and the pump station in the car park to fill up your diesel vehicle, we also have electric charge stations here on the campus. So electric motorbikes are a growing option for transport around Bali, and you can plug in right here. We're entering primary school, and in primary school every class has their own set of gardens that they work with. In the upper school the students work with more cooperative gardens and working with permaculture principles to grow things that are beautiful but also that are edible and medicinal. And right here in primary at a grade 1 classroom, we can see in the garden here we've got corn, we've got papaya, we've got bananas, we've got flowers bringing the bees and the butterflies, and of course always so quintessentially Bali, the lemongrass. Our campus is wild. It's intentionally rugged. We design it this way. This is great for kids, gross motor skills, but also their cognitive development. So everything is designed by intention, but we work with what is already here. On my left here, you can see these beautiful springs. This is where we hold special ceremonies during the year. It's quite a sacred place on the campus. It's really calm and very peaceful. On my right, in contrast, this pit of mud comes to life because this is the Green School Mud Pit. It's a really popular place on the campus. So yes, our children get in here. It's like baby elephants on a hot day, cooling down in the mud and the water. Also, while I'm here, over there is Grasshopper Grove. This was named by our early years students because this is a great place to go if you want to find grasshoppers, dragonflies and butterflies. No two buildings on the Green School campus are the same. Every single one of them is unique. Every single one of them is also a work of art. We're here in the Green School Yoga Studio. This beautiful space comes to life when the children come in here for yoga sessions. Nothing is more beautiful than stopping in here and watching the 3-year-olds take yoga. It is pure joy. It's a beautiful space. I can hear the river behind me here. There's a gentle breeze coming through here. It's a very, very serene and special place on our campus. When we think about well-being at Green School, we think about the whole person, the social, the emotional, and of course the physical, and not just the individual child or the individual community member, but the whole community. This behind me is the Ark. This is our community centre and our sports centre. So what goes on in here? This is a place that we gather that holds us for recreation, for presentations, and for celebrations. This is the Ark.
Hi friends, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm really happy to be able to introduce another member to the Bamboo Settee. Here he is right here. This is Tabo Metcalf, our head of primary school, all rah-rah community green school, long-term educator, long-term Green School Bali team member, and also dad of 2 Green School children who, shockingly, are now in high school and middle school. Seems like 5 minutes ago they were littlies. So Tabo, do you want to say hi and share a little about yourself?
So hi everybody, it's lovely to meet you, lovely to see you virtually here. You might hear some noise in the background. We've got some of our primary school students and friends there coming through at the end of their day today.
I think they're heading off to the mud pit.
They're heading off to do Mapantigan, which is a really special part of Green School, going down to the mud pit for their after school activity today. Like Kate said, I've been here a long time. I'm in an incredibly lucky position to be the head of the primary school here. I get to work with our primary school students who go from about the age of 5 up to about the age of 11, and just spend my days with the most wonderful group of students and the most wonderful group of teachers in the most amazing setting in education. So lovely to meet you all, and I'm sure there's lots of questions that we'll get to, but it's great that you're here for the chat this afternoon.
Oh, thanks so much, Tabo. I know you're a busy person and you've already had, no doubt, a massive day, as it always is.
Big days here
in Green School Primary. But thank you so much for sending through your questions. I'm gathering them up here and they're absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to be pinging back and forth, and we'll work through as many of these as we can in the next little bit of time. So this is a great way to kick off. Thank you, Daniel. Question about our early years program, which I know you love speaking about, Sal, and you're also very connected to Tabo being part of the lower school. So let's hear a little bit about preschool and the early years program more generally.
Okay, I might go general. So just general information. We have 2 pre-kindy classes. They're for 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and we have a double kindy class this year. The early years have their own mini campus inside our campus. I call it the Magic Wonderland. We keep them safe. We've got an amazing group of educators in there. There is always really 3 teachers in with a group of maximum 20 students in a class there. They do really cool experiential learning. They have green studies programs. They do art and PE, and they do start the journey in terms of literacy learning and mathematics learning as well. You know, one of my favourite memories is walking through the early years campus area when my son and daughter were in 3-year-old and the 5-year-old in geckos and kindy, and being out and watching them see learning as something that can be fun, see learning that can be something outside and connected to nature, see learning that can be relationship based. It's a beautiful program. It's fun, it's crazy, it's mad. I do an early years duty every week. But it's very much nature-based and play-based and experiential in terms of how it's delivered. Tabo knows a fair bit about it too.
Yeah, I mean, listening to Sal, it's a great description about the early years program, and I think the thing that's the most beautiful about our early years program, and it's something that's true in a lot of early years settings, but it's at the heart of everything that happens here, is that the teachers who work with our students in early years have such an incredible commitment to the children who are in their care, and the love that they have for those students and the environment that they build around them in the nature-based campus that they have, and how they allow those students to explore themselves at the ages that they're at, and at the developmental points that they're at, is really something that's very, very special. And the Balinese people and the Indonesian people in general are some of the most warm-hearted and loving people that I think you'll ever meet anywhere in your life. And to have our youngest learners here at Green School to be held in that cocoon of love and care with such an amazing Balinese team of teachers, an Indonesian team of teachers with international experts in there, also is a really special environment for those young ones to learn in.
They get dirty.
They do.
Having kids in early years, it's like Yeah, get your laundry going.
Well, I always notice when you've been on duty down there at lunchtime in early years, you come back with a fair smattering of mud.
First smattering of mud and a few tingled nerves as well too. You know, I often have swing duty, and they love the hose and the water and playing together. And there's painting, there's stories, there's some kids sitting around reading books, but there's some kids with a hose down a slide and down the slide. It's a pretty cool place. And yeah, as I said before, I was so fortunate as a parent for my children to start their learning journey, to start what we call school in such a place that's so, like Tabo said, loving and caring, but also really sort of meaningful and impactful.
Yeah, it is really lovely. You just, when you walk in there, you can really feel it. And I know I've said before, if I'm ever having a bad day, I go and watch the 3-year-olds doing a yoga class. And, well, that fills your cup, that's for sure.
Yeah, yoga is fun to watch. Cooking classes in the early years, fun to watch. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on because I know the three of us could spend all afternoon on the early years program, a lot to share there. I've been waiting for an excuse or hoping for an excuse to put a link to the Early Years Peace Parade video in this conversation today. So I'm going to ask the production team if they can put that link in there. Don't watch it now, folks, but save it for later. And that's some of our early years learning and students in action.
And it's definitely when and when you do watch it, think about what I talked about before in terms of providing opportunities for learning to have an impact. And you can see the impact of the learning about peace and a value that is spread across the community, delivered to us as early years the students become our teachers in peace and what it means to be peaceful and to be kind and respectful. It's think about it in terms of the outcome, providing an opportunity for learning to have impact. And that Peace Parade talks about values-based learning so explicitly and so beautifully.
Yeah, lovely. Nice context. Thank you, Sal. Okay, Tavo, back your direction. Great question here about grade 4 and 5 in particular from Joanna, which is a great question because that is a distinctive part of the primary program, 4 and 5.
Yeah. So just about grade 4 and 5 in general?
Yeah, Joanna would like to hear more about it.
What the program is.
Yours, yes.
So grade 4 and 5 are the students at the upper end of our primary school program, which goes from grade 1 up until grade 5. So we sort of refer to grade 5 as the student leaders of our primary school program, and they work closely with the students in grade 4. And one of the most special experiences in those grade 4 and grade 5 grades is that that whole section of the primary school program is working towards the Footprints projects, which are our capstone projects in the primary school, and that are the culminating experience of primary school for our grade 5 students. And they're a wonderful, beautiful, unique expression of learning for students who are at that age, students who are 10 or 11 years old, and they have I think we scored a goal in the background. They have the beautiful opportunity to share their passions and their purpose at that point in life with the whole community, and scaffolded by the teachers that they work with and experts from around the community. They get to build their own impact, as Sal said, at the age of 10 or 11, and seeing how some of our students respond to that and how they take it on after they finish primary school and leave a legacy behind them or take their projects with them is something that's really, really special.
Yeah, thank you, Tabo. Yeah, so you might hear in the background.
I think you will.
Yes, we do have a big soccer match going on here, and Green School is playing right now.
Does Green School play sport question?
Let's get straight on to sport.
It's happening right now. Is it there?
I haven't seen the question on sport yet, but it usually comes up.
We have a really awesome on-island Bali inter-school sports. We're playing soccer against other schools right now. We have different seasons: volleyball, basketball, athletics, cross-country, swimming. We just do probably what normal schools do, and that's have practice, form teams, learn collaboration, teamwork, and then we play sports against other schools, and that's happening live right now that you probably hear in the background.
Okay, so here's a question, different one, on computers. So how present, the question is, how present are computers in the curriculum, I guess? To what extent are they a tool for learning? And Sal, perhaps you can speak to what that looks like in the upper school and Tabo in lower school.
Yeah, a middle school and high school student bring their own laptops and use them regularly across a day. They don't overuse them. but we try and integrate technology as much as possible. It is a part of the world, and it's probably going to be an increasingly significant part of the future that they move into. Learning to be safe and caring online is something, but also intelligent and being able to think critically about the information that's available to them is an important part of our program. Being able to access and use technology, whether it's traditional technologies all the way through to high-tech abilities to code or to use equipment in our innovation hub to laser print, to use the 3D printer. Those sort of technologies are important. Well, I wouldn't say that we haven't thrown away the book and the pen. Our students in middle school and high school are still reading novels. I've just come out of I teach a financial maths class in high school. The resources that I share are online, but our students work in a book like the old school days, because I know that's how you make memories. So yes, there is computer use across middle school and high school. It looks different for different classes. We definitely don't try and overuse it, but we use it to our advantage as much as possible. It's a bit different in early years and primary, and
It is.
and Tabo wants to talk about that, I'd say.
Yeah, in the early years in the primary school, it's a very different environment than Sal was describing for the middle schoolers and high schoolers. I like to think of it and to talk about it a little bit like a high-tech, low-tech environment where we have our students having access to all sorts of amazing low-tech technology. We have kids outside building with bamboo most days of the week. We have kids going into the iHub and using the technologies in there, kids getting into the garden and using tools in and around the garden, in garden spaces, and connecting with the world around them. We do have electronic technology. We do use laptops and things like that, and classrooms have projectors in them, so it's not a no technology environment, but it's definitely a lower tech environment than you may find in a number of other schools around the world. Oftentimes, particularly when we get to grade 4 and grade 5, going back to the question from earlier on, oftentimes our focus in technology is about how to use that technology and how to use that technology safely. We know outside of school many of our students have access to technology at home. We know that many of our students are accessing phones and tablets and digital technology in that sense, and we want to make sure that as much as we can that we're supporting children and supporting families in understanding how to access that technology safely, while also not necessarily focusing or emphasizing too much on technology uses in our early years and primary school classrooms. We have an amazing campus around us, and we want to get children into our campus and connecting with the nature and the world that's around us here.
Just to clarify, we've both said iHub a couple of times, so that
Yes.
stands for Innovation Hub. We've got an amazing learning space that's available across the community, right from early years across to high school, that has access. There's a high-tech sort of area in terms of robotics and laser printing, 3D printing, but it's also got workshop places where you can get your hammers and nails and saws out. It's got a bio lab in there that's connected to our BioBus program and uses bioproducts from the conversion of used cooking oil to diesel. It has connections to the Kumbali, our recycling centre as well. So when we talk about iHub, it stands for Innovation Hub, and it's where a lot of the magic happens, a lot of the project-based learning happens. It's a great place to learn those low-tech and high-tech skills. I'm trying to put a forge in there and get some sort of metal work going. A little bit dangerous, being a campus in the jungle, but I think we'll be able to do it. iHub's a really cool place, and all of our students across the school use it.
Yeah, it's a very hot destination on the campus, literally, but also actually it is a very popular place, is what I mean to say. A lot of our students really, really love going into the Innovation Hub. Some of us parents too, like hanging out in there. Okay, so moving along.
Got another good one, Kate?
Well, I've got a quick one for you. So Tabo, you'll be able to answer this. At what age do kids start their first year of primary school?
So in general, there'll be 6 turning 7. Starting in primary school. Our cutoff for birthdays is around September time, so there isn't an exact age, but 6 turning 7 is the guideline for starting primary school.
Great, super nice. Okay, now I have a couple of questions from Christine and Rosa, which I'm going to combine together, and this is really more about high school. So what experience can we share about children joining the high school program if they've come from a more standard school, is the first part to that question. Actually, let's just stick with that. and the extent to which project-based learning is part of the high school experience. Let me bundle those two together for you.
Yeah, I think that goes back a little bit to the support through transition. Coming from a traditional school setting, especially in terms of if you've been in it for a while, and if you're coming from a high school traditional school setting, it does take a little bit of time for our high school learners to understand and to see and to take advantage of the opportunities. I think our high school program itself, the word opportunities shines out. We see success and happiness in our high school students for those that are able to see the opportunities in their learning and able to take the opportunities within this learning community. There's a little less structure in terms of teaching and learning. We like to provide different opportunities and ways for students to learn and to demonstrate their learning. There is a bigger, I think, focus on project-based learning, and that is an upskilling area that takes students a little bit of time. The campus is different. The concept of electing different courses from grade 9 through to grade 12 and building a learning journey is different as well. I wouldn't say that anyone really struggles, but I'd say, coming from a traditional school where you're told what your classes are in grade 9 and 10 specifically, and you basically go and do what you're told and you learn a set curriculum and get assessed in a set way. It's different in high school here. Students my own son himself has just selected his first term of units. I was a part of that with him. He took responsibility for that. He designed his learning week across day by days of how the learning program looked for him. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it because I think some teenagers aren't, especially from a traditional setting, aren't sort of really used to being given that responsibility and that opportunity. But again, I go back to opportunities. It doesn't take long for a student to go, wow, there's different opportunities for them to create a learning experience that's right for them, and to be able to not just pick their own classes, but to pick the way that they show their learning.
Right. Yeah, it's good. So interesting to see your son now in the high school too. So they're all growing up.
Honestly, he sat down with me and goes, oh, well, I don't really learn maths and literacy, English studies that well after lunch. I'm a bit tired and I'm sweaty, so I'm going to do something project-based after lunch. I want to do my maths classes after break where I'm a little bit more awake. And I want to do some project-based experiential learning, thematic learning in the morning. And I was like, wow, here's this 14-year-old who's taken advantage and sees the opportunity to design his own learning experience. It's really cool.
It is cool. And that goes to the point around, what sort of students thrive well in the green school setting, and just thinking about high school in particular. What sort of students are we looking for? What sort of school are you looking for? And finding that neat match, because really the opportunities are there for the children that are ready to step into that and step up and work on being organised and feeling ready to take responsibility, knowing they're all works in progress. Well, we're all works in progress, but having that kind of mindset, and that's part of what we're looking for. So, I think to encapsulate what you said, you can step out of a more standard high school system into the green school system if that's the right place for you, if you're ready for that. And importantly for us, Sal, is that the student themselves, the child themselves, wants this, not just mum and dad. So that's a really important piece for us to understand and explore through the admissions process.
We've got really good, strong AP calculus, for example, top-level high school maths classes. I know my son as well is doing an amazing organic chemistry class. He's only in year 9, but he's learning all about carbon and its impact around the world. Talking about polymerization and esterification and things like that. And I'm like, wow. So, it's not like we've thrown everything out. You can still get that normal academic challenge within our program, but we see opportunities within projects and within experiential learning, and to be able to think thematically and integrated to be able to create a real connection to the learning rather than just learning out of a textbook. Again, learning for an exam. It's not really what we want to do here.
Yeah, well, that actually leads us nicely on to the next question, which is a question around, the question, I'll just read it out, is the A level from Green School, which I think for us means the Green School diploma, recognised worldwide, as I would like to go on to university elsewhere? That's from Rosa. Thank you, Rosa.
Yeah, and it's all about honesty today. Last year we had 20 grade 12 graduates, and they were basically, I think, from 12 different countries. And so it can be challenging because you do leave here with a high school diploma that's an equivalent to an American high school diploma. You leave here with an amazing e-portfolio that's describing you as a learner. You do leave here with a TED Talk style greenstone presentation that goes out to the world as well. That said, when you're talking about 40 different nationalities coming from all around the world to Green School Bali and then creating the perfect learning journey and then next step transition out of high school into a university, it can be challenging. There are some countries that we're still trying to help them catch up with us. Our university philosophy really is to move away from our students applying to university, but universities starting to apply for our students. I see our high school students, those 17, 18-year-old graduates being world changers, shakers, responsible people, able to communicate, solve problems, and I know that universities are starting to look for that as well. There is no one-size-fits-all in terms of our pathways. We have an amazing pathways coordinator, and our head of high school, Ibu Harriet's done that job before, and she takes that really personally. But it's a one-for-one, like I said, there's students going from here to universities all around the world, and there is no way that we can actually guarantee a university placement for a student. We do everything possible. Sometimes, I know even going back to my home country, Australia, it's actually quite difficult to get into those Australian universities if you don't have that number, that score. But there are other ways around it. You can do university classes whilst being at Green School Bali. That helps you get in later. You can do bridging courses. It's nice for the Australians because we finish our school year in August. They have 6 months until the next university year starts. So there are different ways that we can do it. We solve problems around that. But it's, to be honest, it's sometimes a challenge, but we're up for the challenge. And all of our students who've wanted to go to university have basically gone to university here.
Yeah, super nice. Thank you, Sal. And you can find some more information on our graduates and where they are, and some graduate stories, which are really great to have a read through. They're a nice kind of slice across our graduates over the years. So please take a look at that. I'm sure the link will be shared there and you can have a look at that on the website. We will need to speed up a little bit because I want to make sure we do try and get to as many of your
There's a lot of
questions as
questions
possible. So I'm
coming
giving
in.
a gentle to
Right, quick
myself
question-
as much
quick
as
answer,
everyone
sorry.
else. Okay, no, that's okay. Tubbo, I'm going to send this one your way. It's a high school question, but I think the answer is the same in any part of the school. Do Green School children choose their projects? Do they do this individually or others? And I thought your grade 5 right now is a good example of both happening, actually.
Yeah, both things happening. So yes, students choose their own project at certain points in the year and at certain times, and that looks different at different stages of the school: primary school, early years, primary school, middle school, and high school. And at times, students work on projects together as a community and as part of their class. So Kate's referring to a project that's just started happening in grade 5. They went on a field trip yesterday to learn about some mangroves here in Bali, to understand the mangrove ecosystem and how it's supporting the coastal ecosystems around Bali. And then we'll spend the next 4 or 5 weeks working on a project that's all focused on water and water around Bali, water in the culture of Bali and in Indonesia, so connecting to ceremonies, things like that. And then also giving back and having some projects that directly impact on the environment here at Green School and the campus here at Green School, and help to return some water to the water tables of Bali, so that we're not just taking from the resources that we have here. So a little bit of both, and it looks different, but lots of spread of projects for kids to be working on while they're here.
And then, of course, as they move through into semester 2, your grade 5 students will be working on their Footprints project, which is a capstone program for all the children in grade 5, and they will each choose their own individual project.
They will. So that's where, in grade 5, that's where the individual aspect comes in, and they'll be supported and scaffolded within that by their teachers and mentors to identify projects. And really importantly for us in the primary school, identify projects that are appropriate for 10 and 11-year-olds to be working on. Where can they be identifying a problem that they can see or a question that they want to address in a way which is still truly authentic and beautifully messy and quirky and silly, as they should be for 10 and 11-year-old projects. And that then moves on through the rest of the school, through the Quest projects, which are the capstones, finalising grade 8 in middle school, which Sal's son and mine did last year and finished off last year, and then all the way through to the Greenstone capstone Footprints at the end of grade 12, which are just incredible.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tubbo. Sal, is English the only language being taught or spoken? It says, specifically this question relates to preschool, but actually I think you can answer it in a whole of school sense.
Yeah, this is an English language medium school. We do deliver the majority of our learning experience in the English language. That being said, Bahasa Indonesian is, well, it's regulated for us as an international school in Indonesia that we do teach. Our whole community, parents and teachers are learners of Bahasa Indonesian here. And so not, I suppose, more than just a language, but an understanding and a development of respect for the local culture is important through that. There's not a foreign language program through the lower school, primary and early years. There is really not a foreign language program in middle school, although I do know middle schoolers that have been able to retain and maintain learning of their home language. There is what's known as a language lab class in high school where students can continue or learn new languages, but English is the main language of delivery. We speak and learn a lot of Bahasa Indonesian, and it's not only just a learning journey, but it's just a way that we respect our local community here.
Oh, great. Thank you, Sal. So I will bundle that together with another question actually that is about what the process or support would be for a child who doesn't speak English. And I think that's something that we've had a lot of experience with too at Green School. And for that reason, we've developed a whole program called Green School English, which is for a certain age cohort of learners to be able to come and experience English language focused program of learning in the jungle, in the Green School Way, right here on the campus and connected to our community. And it runs parallel to the main school program. So children can come and take that program and then go on to wherever they're going next or back home, or can apply to join the school and transition into the main part of the program. So there's information on our website about Green School English, so you can find out a little bit more about that. Okay, so Nicoletta has asked about, or that she's noticed, the school is popular and we have a wait list for most programs. Do we have insights on how to prepare for an admissions process that ends in success? Well, I think the place to start is to start sooner rather than later is the most important point to start with. And I think for us, success looks like a great match family. So a family that has started that process early, has given a lot of thought to their child, what sort of learner they are, what the child's aspirations are, what the parents' aspirations are, have asked us lots of questions, have connected, have turned up to these events and so on, and really are feeling like this is the right place for their child, having done their homework. And from our end, it's really about wanting to feel confident that families have done their own research, have connected, read, listened, watched, visited us if they can, and really are understanding what Green School is. Are also coming with a sense of wanting to embrace this type of education, to support it, to participate, be part of the community, turn up, be active, be constructive, and also to come with a sustainability mindset. And Sal, that's something I know you're very passionate about too. So we ask everyone joining us, whatever their start point, to make a shift. Get involved and be part of this community. So our admissions team are the experts on all of this. So you will be able to reach out to them anytime on what the steps and stages are. And we do have a little bit of information at the end of the session today to give you a quick overview of that as well. All right, a question about registration costs, which is probably getting answered in the chat as well, but the registration cost is part of the fee structure. So people would be asked to pay the registration fee once an application has been reviewed and approved, and families are either then offered a place or are asked to be on a wait list if we don't have a place just yet, and that's when the registration fee is payable, and it's a one-time fee. Okay, so Marion has two girls, 11 years old and 11 years old, year 6, starting in September. Starting somewhere else in September, sorry, in Bucharest. Question is, if they would continue with grades. Okay, this is a question about how we place children. I'll just summarise it. So how we place, we know children come from different curriculum systems around the world, different calendars for school years around the world. How do we determine where a child should go into the Green School neighbourhood? Who'd like to take that one?
I can take that because it's
Thanks,
largely the same process, I think, across the whole of the school. And essentially we the starting point for that is getting to know you and getting to know the child during the application process and through the admissions process. We do have a date-based cutoff in terms of ages for children that is a big part of making decisions about which grades are the right starting place for children. And generally, we do make those decisions based on understanding the child holistically or the children holistically, and not specifically based on academic achievement in the past or in the future. There are processes, as Kate said. We have a wonderful community who come from all sorts of different backgrounds all around the world, from different school systems that run on different timetables and all of those kind of things. So we do have to work with this fairly regularly, and we do have a process in place that lets us, through time and through discussions with families and with the expertise of teachers, make some ongoing decisions about whether the placement for children is right, or whether that needs to be adjusted in a way. But essentially the starting point is us getting to know you through the admissions process, getting to know all of your background and history, and then using the admissions process. The placement for the students will be defined through that admissions process.
Nice, thank you, Tabo. Sal, we're good with that?
No, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep moving through. So I'm going to try and get to as many of these as I can in the order that they were asked. So I know people who asked earlier may have been overlooked. Don't worry, I've got you on the list. How can parents participate or contribute to the school? I think that's a great question, and many, many different ways is a short answer. Everything from being a mystery reader in a classroom in early years through to helping hands-on with a project in the school, to being a mentor to an older student in the school, or delivering a talk for parents workshop. Lots and lots of different ways parents can contribute. Not every idea parents have on things that could be added to the school get a yes, and I think it's good to talk about that sometimes too. But I think we're always open, and we have a great, rich and ever-evolving program for parent participation. Question here from Alessandro, who has a younger child, 1.5 years old. Is there a system in the school that integrates the second child and the parent? So the little one.
Oh, the little ones. I suppose that's, I have direct experience when I came here. One of my children was 3 months old, and I know my wife and my 3-month-old baby just had a lot of fun being just together in terms of parent groups and things like that. I don't know, Kate. It's difficult. It's different, I suppose, for parents and families and in how they want to sort of get involved. Is that the scope of the question for the
I think
little
so.
ones?
I mean, I think the school, we do lots of things, way more than maybe a regular school does in terms of some of our initiatives and how parents are part of it and what we offer in terms of community building pieces. But part of what we also recognise is there's a limit to that, and that our focus first and foremost is always the children that are enrolled here in the school. So if their interests are not served first and foremost, then they're an idea probably doesn't get up. But what is fantastic about the school, and I always say this to families that are interested in coming or on their way to us, is to take the opportunities to connect with other parents that are already here. Yep. So we have a fantastic community of parents, including a whole lot that have 1-year-olds, 6 months old, 1.5-year-olds, 2-year-olds who aren't enrolled in the school but have their own spin-off kind of community where they share activities and resources and build friendships together. And I think that's where the real gold lies, I think, as for a family with really young ones.
I think it's sort of like you're joining a bigger family.
Yes.
And so for the parents with younger kids in their families that have other kids enrolled in the school, they're part of the family here as well. Yeah.
Tabo,
yes.
I think this is a great question from you, from Sophie. Thank you, Sophie. Asking to shed some light for new families in terms of integrating into life in Bali. So thinking about where to live and, what the kind of tips are. I know the school, we provide support to families on their way in. I mean, we don't hold your hand every step of the way, but we do give you lots of great practical information and connect you up to the existing community for support. There's no
question you could possibly cook up on living in Bali that would not get answered by the collective parent community that is here. So lots of support, but maybe you could share some insights.
I can. I don't know if I can share insights in a short time frame. This is a topic that we could talk about for,
your top
such
five,
a long time.
Top five living in Bali tips, Tabo.
I think the thing that's really important as a family moving to Bali, moving to another culture anywhere around the world, is just to be really aware that you will go through a transition, and to recognize that transition is sometimes bumpy and sometimes it's tricky, but that your traditions as a family and your connection as a family are the most important way of seeing your family through those bumpy moments in the road. There's access to everything that you need here in Bali. There's access to everything that you could want. You might find that it's the little things that really creep up on you and seem really big. Maybe your child has a favorite breakfast cereal that they have eaten every day of their lives up until this point, and you can't get that here in Bali. Or that there's a particular brand of decaf coffee that you rely on to get you through the afternoon, and that one isn't available here. So just be aware of those little things and find ways around that. As Kate said, ask questions on the community and to really, really connect. The journey that you go on when you come to join a community like this is a journey that many people have walked down prior to you, and every single one of those people are here and are ready to offer support with those things. And I think linking it back to something Sal said earlier, when you come, be ready to be here and to engage with the Indonesian and Balinese community who are here on the island. Get yourself learning Indonesian. Get yourself connecting with the populations wherever you live, with your neighbours and your friends, wherever it is you end up living, because that's the way that you're going to get so much more out of the experience of living here in Bali and in Indonesia as well.
I think it's such an epic thing. I think probably a lot of people are thinking right now just Green School Bali. And Green School just in itself, and the learning program and the curriculum and the questions we're getting. But don't forget, coming to live in Bali, it's a little bit of a paradise place here. It does have its challenges, but it's the added bonus, and I think it's probably what makes Green School Bali so special, that we don't want to live in an expat bubble. I suppose you can if you really want to, but the real magic, the real family experience, the real learning that you will have definitely has a lot connected to being a part of an Indonesian and a Balinese community and society.
Yeah. It's a good point, Sal, and such an important one. And sometimes people don't ask about that actually on these sessions. So thank you for asking about that piece. It's beautiful to speak about that. And we do have, I think, Indonesian students by number about our third biggest group in the school by nationality, and we have a large scholarship program for Balinese children. And
we have a big Indonesian teaching
We do indeed.
team. We have active connections across our local Balinese, but also Indonesian communities. It isn't just an international school in a bubble here. We want to be connected as possible because we know a lot of the richest, most meaningful learning and life experiences that we get are by being open to that other way of thinking, that other culture in the world. That Balinese people are so beautiful. Indonesian culture is amazing to learn and to live in.
Yeah, so true. It's such a privilege to be here. So
I do bring my big jars of Vegemite though. Yeah.
Okay, here's a good question about homework. So what's the expectation on homework for children? So in this case, John and Mel have asked in relation to their children who are in junior school, primary school and middle school, but good to just to share a take on that for everybody out there.
Can I start first?
Yes.
Because I love this question. Homework here at Green School Bali for our primary school and early years students, our primary school and early years children, is homework for you as parents. And it's homework for you to connect with your kids. It's homework for you to enjoy where you're living and to enjoy being with your kids and celebrate the days that your kids have, maybe to do the laundry or to go and look for the flip-flop that got lost again today, but really to cherish the time that you have with your kids after school, because our days here are long, our days here are incredibly rich and incredibly stimulating, and for you as a family to get to take advantage of the time that you have with your children when they're young is some of the most precious time that you ever have with them. So the homework that we will give you from primary school and early years will be homework for you.
Looks a little bit different in middle school. I'd say middle school start sort of upping it a little bit, but it's still that homework isn't homework for homework's sake, where teachers are setting hours and hours of repetitive, sometimes pointless homework that just has to keep busy sort of work. Homework in middle school is probably more a continuation of what's happening in class, a discussion with parents about their learning program. But there's not really a big focus and a high expectation for homework. They do get into grade 8s to a quest, and I know my son last year was doing a fair bit of homework, but I wouldn't call it work, I'd just call it learning. And now again in high school I'm teaching a little bit, and there is homework requirements there. We do know that higher level of thinking, especially in terms of your higher academic thinking, does require to be learning outside of the classroom and reinforcing new concepts. And so homework does look a little bit different in middle school and high school. My son, again, talking about just a personal thing, he's got homework in high school now nearly every night, just a little bit. But, we're able to connect on that and do it together sometimes. It's really cool.
Yeah, nice. Well, you're both getting a round of applause from me on the homework front as the mum of 3. Well, 2 have graduated, but still 1 at Green School. And it's something I've always been very grateful for, that, it's often just finishing some work that's not been done or continuing on some project, but not this arbitrary setting of homework for the sake of it, which I know actually just can destroy family evenings, actually, some of the time. So very grateful for a more progressive, evidence-based approach to the value of homework.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk about assessment. So this question has come up. It always comes up. So it's always a hot topic at Green School. So what does assessment look like at Green School? We're not talking about standardised testing necessarily and letter grades in certainly for the younger students. And what are we doing on the assessment front?
Yeah, so I can kick off, and then maybe Sal can speak from a more whole school perspective and an upper school perspective. Assessment at Green School really, really importantly is about understanding our children. So having the gift of your children, having the gift of children come to spend their days with us, that makes it incredibly important to us that we get to know these human beings who are in front of us every day. And our approach to assessment is really about that. It's about how do we get to know and understand these human beings who we're sharing our lives with, and how do we help them develop their sense of identity? How do we help them connect with a sense of belonging in this place that they're in? And that comes in all sorts of forms. So it comes in having a challenge academically through what you need to do. It comes with having support if you're finding an experience tricky. It comes in knowing that there's an adult who you trust and who you connect with, so that when you have a falling out with your friends, or if you have an argument with someone, you know that you have people who you can go to who will help you to resolve that and help you to find the support you need around those situations. Our approach to and understanding of assessment is much broader than purely numbers on a page or purely the results of a test. Those give a glimpse into a portion of a child's personality, into a portion of a child's learning, but by no means they give us everything. So we need to make sure that we're approaching assessment in the lower school here, in primary school and early years, in a much broader sense than that. And similar is true in the upper school with some other elements also.
Yeah, you'll get parts of what traditional schools do for assessment, where there's a test and it's knowledge-based, and we're looking for, can you regurgitate some information? Can you remember a formula and solve an algebraic equation? It's just a part for us. We'd like to provide opportunities for students to learn and develop skills, to demonstrate values. You don't you can't put a number or a grade on those things. So our assessment practices across the school need to be holistic, like Tabo was saying. But there's still elements of what a traditional school will do with parts of their assessment. If you're doing an AP Calc class, or even in my financial maths class, you'll do a quiz and you'll get a mark. In high school, you can get grades if you choose, and that's just standard across most schools now. But there are really sort of another part of assessment I think really important to round it up would be talking about asking the students to reflect on their learning and even provide some assessment of their learning as well. And I find even through, I saw that firsthand through middle school, the impact that we allow students to assess themselves, to tell us who they are as a learner, what they've had challenges with, how they overcome those challenges, really cool ways. So, there's some middle school, upper school, we still do tests, we still do quizzes, but it's not the only way we do it.
Yeah.
We can see learning and we can see achievement and growth in many different ways.
Yeah, it's so good. I think for a lot of us as parents, the child's own reflection, their own assessment on their growth is the best part of the assessment model here. And I have always loved how inevitably the child starts with how they felt, how they're feeling, what was challenging, what was difficult, what they were proud of before they get to skills that they acknowledged or that they mastered, or other pieces that might be more in the academic realm. And I think that's really wonderful. Yeah. Okay, dokie. Let's keep moving. Is there a music curriculum at Green School?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Pretty awesome, but we don't have a string band. We don't, the brass section doesn't, it gets rusted up here in the jungle. We've great connections to local Indonesian music programs. We've got other traditional, more sort of middle school bands, high school bands. Music's really important to us as a creative way to celebrate and express ourselves. It looks different across the school. I wouldn't be, it's probably not the place you come if you want a music scholarship at another school. It's a part of our school, but we aren't a music school, although we love music and it is a part of the fabric of Green School. Yeah.
Well, Tabo, I heard your primary school having an assembly this morning and blowing the roof off the building almost with the joy of singing, which is beautiful. So we do love it. We use it to celebrate. We bring Balinese culture in through our arts program and so on. Yeah. So
beautiful music all of the time here at Green School.
Okay, now we're moving to the rapid fire section because we are running out of time very, very fast. All right. What are the school hours, Tabo?
Primary school starting off at about 8 o'clock, going through till about 3 o'clock. There's always a little bit of flexibility there. Sometimes there's traffic, sometimes there's rain. 8 o'clock.
Sometimes there's after-school activities.
Yeah.
But
that's my next question. Are there after-school activities?
Yeah, starting straight at the end of school, we have the sports programs. Inside the school, connected with other schools, we have a plethora of awesome different opportunities delivered by our teachers and by external vendors for an after-school program that's pretty alive and amazing.
And is there a cost for that program?
Some of those programs do have a cost, especially if they're run and developed by outside vendors. Yes.
But there's always a big range in there that are free.
A huge range in there that are free.
Is sport included in the main curriculum or the main school program?
Sport is included in the main school program, and again, it looks different at different points of the school. It's actually really important that we refer to our PE program. You might hear it called in other places as physical well-being, so PW, because our program does include sport, but it's also much broader than that, and it really does touch on well-being for students, and that allows opportunities for all sorts of different physical expression.
Fantastic, thank you. What languages do we teach? Specifically, the question is for a family whose children take Spanish and would like that to continue.
Yeah, we only in the high school we can find time in a program in our language lab classes for students to continue with their home languages. Across middle school, primary school and early years, their days are full with experiential learning, thematic learning, project-based learning. They do learn Bahasa Indonesian, but to be honest, I think if a lot of those would need to be sort of family-generated, parent sort of run sort of extensions to the learning program. Yeah, we don't. I mean, we've got 42 different nationalities represented here. We just simply couldn't actually cater for all of the different languages that people are coming from their home languages.
Yeah. What does happen sometimes is that families will get together. In this case, it might be our Spanish families that get together and would like to continue to offer a Spanish program for their children and organise something themselves, which is fantastic. So the Hive often provides. Do we celebrate religious dates such as Christmas, Diwali, Ramadan, etc.?
Yeah, so across the Lowell School program, early years and primary school again, different cultural celebrations from around the world are recognised, and we have those included in our program. They vary a little bit year to year depending exactly on what the calendar is. Real focus for us on top of that is connecting to and celebrating the festivals and important dates here in Bali and in Indonesia. So practicing and joining in with full moon ceremonies, practicing and joining in with ceremonies like Saraswati and things like that, which are such important elements of Indonesian and Balinese culture. So that's a real central part of our program, and then we do recognise those international days of significance or religious days of significance as well. And Bamboo Day, and Earth Day, and Oceans Day, and all sorts of other days.
Thanks, Tabo. Brilliant. Now, we are not going to get to all of these questions. Thank you so much. I know some are admissions related, and Leanne is going to help us wrap up this session today, and I think we'll answer some of your questions right there. But in terms of other things around what the school is looking for in students that apply and so on, please do reach out to the admissions team and they can help with some insights and some guidance on those pieces. I'm going to grab a couple here before we start to wrap up. And one is that we don't have a boarding program at Green School, and we also don't facilitate homestay or home boarding arrangements for new students coming to the school. Our expectation and our desire is that all our students enrolled in the school have a parent or both parents or a legal guardian here with them. That's really important to us because we're here in Bali, so for lots of reasons, but also for that community building piece. We do, however, have short-term programs. I can see there's a question on that, which are run through Green Camp. So if you have a child and you can't come to Bali, you can't be part of the main school community, you can be part of the Green School family by taking a Green Camp program. And I'm sure our friends on the decks are putting those links in the chat for you, so you can have a look at those. Okay, I think we have covered off the main points here. I'm sorry if we did not get to everything today. We do have your questions and we are in touch with people that have joined us through these sessions. So hopefully we can get back to you and provide some answers to questions that haven't been answered today, or please do ask our admissions team. We're going to wrap up here with a little session from Leanne, who is here with all the practical bits and pieces on enrolments. And I think even if you're just contemplating Green School or just want to know more, please do stay on for that piece so you can know what the steps are. And also, before we wrap up, please do Tabo, Sal, myself, Leanne and the whole production crew a little favour. Please, if you would be so kind as to fill out the little survey, because we are all learners here and we would love to hear from you on how helpful or otherwise this session was today. We certainly very much enjoyed it, didn't we?
Did. It's always lovely to get to meet everybody.
Yeah, we do love it. We love these sessions. So thank you, Sal. I know you're a busy person. Thanks for giving us your time, insights and wisdom.
Yeah. Thanks for coming today, and stay connected, ask good questions. This might be a place that changes your life. It definitely changed mine. So, yeah. And
Tabo, one of my favourite humans of Green School. Always love hanging out with you. Thanks for giving us your time today as well.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out for the afternoon.
We're going to hand over to Leanne and say goodbye from the Bamboo Settee.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.
Don't forget the survey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wow, I just want to say another big thank you to Sal, Kate and Tabo for that amazing session. So much insight, so much wisdom and so much care and thought into every question. I particularly loved in that just watching everyone's faces as Tabo answered the question about homework. Everyone's face was lighting up. So thank you so much for staying for the whole 90 minutes. And thank you again to the panel for spending all that time with us. So what next? Thank you again for 90 minutes staying on this call. The admissions team will be in touch with you. You will have an access to this recording. But what will happen next is if you are ready to start an inquiry with us and connect with the admissions team, there'll be a link in the chat box right now with a link to that process. And when you connect with us on that registration, it gives us the opportunity to keep connecting and sharing more of these events. I think we just scored another goal. And that's what the noise is. So really register your interest with us through the inquiry form, and we'll keep in touch with you through these events, invitations, and of course we'd love to welcome you to our campus. So again, these are for admissions processes, and oh, we've got a little student, thank you. If you are interested in applying in 2023-24, keeping it real, you can start your application through the link below. The team will be sharing that right now. But the admissions team is here to answer your questions. And again, really dig deep into the answers and questions, the FAQs on our website. So we will look forward to keeping in touch. And thank you again. Goodbye from the Green School Bali campus.